This is Maine, America's coast. Hello, I'm Jack Perkins, and if you hear me call this America's coast, do you wonder, what sort of hubris is that for a Mainer to make such a claim? How can this one stretch be called America's coast? Let me count the ways. First, by many reckonings, this stretch of coast is where America began.
Wabanaki describes the place where the first light of a new dawn first touches Turtle Island. In our language, Wabanaki translates as Chwaban, the period of time just before the new dawn breaks, and Aki, the land of that place.
This is the present state of Wabanaki. The wampum belt is the Confederacy belt of the Wabanaki. The Wabanaki Confederacy has existed prior to the arrival of Columbus. It still meets today. It is the basis of how Maine got to be Maine and how the United States got to be the United States.
Gould recently assigned himself the role of unofficial, offbeat state historian.
The entire history of North America began in Maine.
Looking for that passage is precisely what the Italian explorer Verrazzano was doing when he found Maine in 1524. But again, before he or any of the other explorers got here, it was fishermen who found the Maine coast. As John Gould said, fish were the harvest that started America.
Ancestral waterways, rivers and streams were obstructed and dammed, and the fisheries, the Wabanaki's primary source of food, was destroyed.
You know, the condition, the socio-economic strata in most of the communities in Indian country is deplorable. They're even worse than third world countries here in the United States. And there's a reason for that. There's a deliberate policy, you know, forcibly removing children from their families for absolutely no cause because they're Indian.
Hundreds of Wabanaki children were taken from their homes, from their communities, away from their tribes, and placed in Indian residential boarding schools where the publicly stated goal was to, quote, kill the Indian and save the man, end quote. Children were severely abused for simple infractions such as speaking their native tongue.
When you remove a Native American child from their family and from their community, that destroys that child. And it has debilitated whole communities and whole nations.
And the truth about genocide in the indigenous peoples of this territory, now known as Maine, needs to be known. The truth needs to be told, because we are still suffering and living in the wake of genocidal policies and practices. In order for any change or healing to take place, the truth must be told and received on compassionate ears.
Indian country is the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to acknowledge, because what does that mean to honor the treaties? What does that mean to acknowledge that we are on the homelands of Indian country? I'm not from Maine. Maine is from me.